Well, the Cleveland Browns' new Brook Park Stadium renderings have been revealed, and I'm going to be reacting to them. My first initial thought of the stadium, it kind of reminds me of like a ranch mansion because it's so low to the ground and so spread out. I really do like the scattered heights of the roofs and all the angles, and it just looks all really cool. So, we're going to go through. You can see some exterior photos during the winter, and the main aerial photo that you can see shows all of the different stuff surrounding the stadium. They do have a lot of buildings surrounding it. I'm sure some of that is going to be a hotel, restaurants, things like that, residential areas. And then they do also have a bunch of parking. Of course, the parking is coated with trees. If you're going to have parking, you got to do that now in the modern age. But let's get to the interior of the stadium. And wow, what an interesting roof design. So the roof, I guess, curves up at an angle, as you can see. And also the seating design is really, I think, different than what we're used to. So basically the entire thing is a translucent roof, but it's a different translucent roof than the last three that we've seen. The ones I'm talking about are Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, the new Titans Stadium, and then the new Bills Stadium. Those roofs are all like circular. This one is extremely abstract. You can see the massive scoreboard behind the one end zone, and then even above that, they've got some seating there. Another interesting thing is a very small upper deck that kind of jets out on each side, which is another I think very rare thing for any stadium to have. They also do have, it says Cleveland Browns right under the translucent part of the roof. That comes off to me as very clean. And then looking at the other side is, listen, I don't know if they're actually going to do that, but that is a gigantic wall of seating on you can see on each side, just uninterrupted. It looks extremely vertical. I would imagine they're going to try and incorporate that side to be kind of like the dog pound or something. And in the middle, it seems like there's some type of interruption where they split it. But on either side, that is just giant walls of uninterrupted seats. Kind of reminds me of the Intuit Dome a little bit. And then over top, they do also have like a standing room area as well, along with another massive scoreboard, and also kind of just some conjumbled seats you can see like at each of the corners. So a very interesting interior design for the Browns. Certainly there's going to be a ton of natural light if this does end up happening. They said that, it's not a guarantee obviously, but they are leaning towards doing this. And that is another aerial shot just looking at it. I mean, that does look pretty sweet, I got to be honest. I would like them to have a little bit better lighting, but I do think it's a problem with the airport, unfortunately. If they lit up that stadium really nice, it would be so cool. Just because it's an abstract design. That's what I would describe this as, an abstract design, because you've got all of the different layers to the exteriors, and then the component of it also is kind of cool to where it's almost like it's underground. So to go to the stadium, it looks like at some entrances you have to walk downstairs and stuff. So this definitely is a very interesting, different stadium than what we're used to. And there are just some other views. That is kind of weird. It looks like just a giant, it almost looks like something you would find in DC, like a monument where you kind of walk on the outside. I don't know, it just looks weird from that photo. Maybe they'll do something different. But other than that, you can see in this rendering, they're trying to incorporate some grass right up against the stadium. I wish they would just kind of have like a flat lawn right up against the stadium. I always thought that would look cool, but you can see the parking with all of the trees and things like that. And then to the right, that would be part of one of the newer buildings, or I guess multiple newer buildings. Also, I don't know, that's like a Cleveland Browns logo. That's maybe they're going to have that light up. I'm not exactly sure if that's going to be a thing or that was just kind of included because it is a rendering, but there are several entrances you can see, underground entrances, just based on the way the stadium is built, and then a bunch of different angles coming together to form the front entrance of this stadium, and then the main stadium body, and then you can see more entrances, looks like towards the back. This is a very, very large and like ranch style stadium because it had to be built into the ground, but it's very, very cool. And personally, I like this design. It's something different. And right now it seems like they are trending towards doing this. Although they did say in their tweet, while we have considered numerous sites throughout Cleveland and the region, our focus has been on two potential paths for the future of our stadium. two potential paths. Are they referencing the renovation? No, I don't think they are, because they're saying the future of our stadium. While significant work remains, the more we have explored the Brook Park option, the more attractive it has become. Yeah, I think they are talking about the renovation. So they're not going to do the renovation to the Brown Stadium. There's no way. I think for sure the Brook Park option is going to happen, and potentially the stadium opening by 2028. And then there are some photos depicting different events. You've got probably the Final Four. You've got, I mean, they got like esports events, things like that, all in their video, where it shows just how multi-purpose the stadium could potentially be. I'd imagine a capacity probably around 68K. When it comes to NFL stadiums, the capacity, they're all the same, so it's just how expandable is it, and I'm guessing they'll make it pretty expandable to probably, if they do host a Super Bowl, it'd be around 75, 78K if that were to happen. So to me, I think if you're going to go this far, although I don't know, we've seen other stadiums with renderings and them not potentially happen. The reason I think this is happening is because if you're not going to put a roof on Cleveland Browns Stadium, why would you? I just don't get investing another 15, 20 years there with that type of weather, especially with the way the NFL is going. I know people really hate domes, and domes do make things really boring because you want that weather element, and it's becoming less and less likely with a lot of these teams, cold weather teams, switching to domes. In some cases, not even cold weather teams, but like Tennessee. It's a growing trend, but at least if you're going to do a dome, do it right, do it unique, do something different. And with this roof and kind of this angled design, this is certainly something different. And I do wonder, the roof, it depicts like there's some type of design within the roof. I don't know if those are just beams or what those are, supports or something. I do wonder how that could affect the shadows. I mean, are those things going to all be shown onto the field? That might be a little bit interesting, but normally, at least the way they depict it, and I would imagine this is how it's going to be like a normal, traditional, translucent roof. It's going to be clear. It's going to allow the sun to come through, although it'll be a lot more dim, but you're still going to be able to see the sun on the field. It's not going to be an Allegiant Stadium type of thing where they had to blur it a little bit because of how hot it was. So you're not going to be dealing with that. But it does really seem like this is happening because Haslam said he wanted to make the decision based off the fans, and I would say about 80% of the fans want this stadium to happen with a roof, but I guess we will see. I do wonder, I mean, is the Ford plant there in that aerial shot? I don't really see the Ford plant. Maybe it is there, but off to the left, obviously that is the airport, and that just goes to show you how close the airport is, like a minute away for people coming in if you're going to host major concerts, do all that type of stuff. The parking, I guess, is disguised decently with all the trees, although it is a lot of parking, I will say that, surrounding the stadium. I guess they do need it. Preferably, you'd be able to get that Ford plant out of there and tuck some of the parking back there so you could kind of expand the actual, like, stadium campus, if you will, and put more greenery around. But then you would be requiring people to, I guess, walk a long way to the stadium. Either way, it does look very unique. We'll see. I mean, there's also a big, giant roundabout there at the start. Either way, that's going to do it for this video, guys. Make sure you follow me on X. Link to that's always in the description.